Welcome to U.S.VETS Long Beach 14th Annual Honoring Those Who Served Luncheon. Thank you so much for joining virtually on this wonderful afternoon to honor and commemorate the invaluable contribution of our military veterans. Today, I join you all from home base of U.S.VETS Long Beach at the beautiful Century Villages at Cabrillo. Since 1999, U.S.VETS Long Beach has been a safe haven for veterans by providing housing, workforce development, and supportive services for families. It is the solid foundation of the community that helps hundreds of veterans in their transition from homelessness to regaining their independence. Although we are saddened we couldn't gather in person for the second year in a row, we are excited for this special opportunity to salute the brave men and women that served our nation. Today, you will feel the power of the mission of U.S.VETS, and like me, you'll be inspired by the success of our veterans and supporters. Today's luncheon raises life-changing funds to continue serving veterans and their families in Long Beach. You will have the opportunity to make a lasting impact in the lives of hundreds of veterans and their families by donating to support U.S.VETS Long Beach programs. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge all of the sponsors who've made today's event possible and directly supported the transformative programming that is provided to over 800 veterans daily. I especially want to thank our platinum sponsors, Marathon Petroleum and Valero Refinery, for putting our veterans first year after year. To all of you, our cherished supporters, we appreciate you spending an afternoon with us. We hope you enjoy today's event.
They stepped up and enlisted to bravely serve our country, but life is challenging, and sometimes we need a shoulder for support. Two things that should never go together, veterans and homelessness. That's where U.S.VETS comes in. Founded by veterans to uplift veterans, U.S.VETS is an army of professional staff, donors, veterans, and civilian volunteers alike.
U.S.VETS is the home base for opportunity.
It is my pleasure to introduce keynote speaker, California State Assembly member Patrick O'Donnell, who joins us today to deliver an important message.
Hello, this is Assembly Member Patrick O'Donnell, proud to be part of the U.S.VETS Honoring Those Who Served Luncheon. It's the 14th annual luncheon. Very proud of our veterans for sure, but also proud of this organization which serves veterans. And thank you, Eric Miller, for inviting me today, your executive director, who does a fine job of serving our local veterans who we're so proud of and so thankful for. I am Patrick O'Donnell. I represent the 70th Assembly District up in Sacramento. I'm your representative in Long Beach, Signal Hill, San Pedro, and Catalina Island. Proud to be of service to our community, and I'm allowed to be of service to our community, quite frankly, because of our veterans, because they have supported our democracy here in America for so many years. I am the son of an Air Force veteran. My father was in the Air Force. As the story goes, he got the draft letter in the mail and ran down and signed up for the Air Force. So he served in the Air Force. I'm very proud of him for doing that, my late father. I also have the honor of being a classroom teacher, taught middle school for many years, and now a high school teacher when I'm not in Sacramento. And I got to teach democracy to kids in 8th grade, and certainly in their government class when they're seniors, and teach them how important democracy is and how hard fought for it has been and how we need to protect it. And our Constitution is key to keeping our democracy in America, and our veterans are the ones who have kept democracy alive around the world and certainly in America today. So I am honored to join you here to celebrate the real-life heroes in our community, our veterans, during again our 14th annual Honoring Those Who Served Luncheon. 14 years, great job. First off, thank you to the men and women who have served and kept democracy alive around our globe and kept it a value and something to behold across our globe. Without your courage and sacrifices, myself and millions of others would not have the privileges we have today. Over the past year and a half, it has been a truly difficult time for our community battling COVID-19, no doubt. Although we cannot meet in person for the second year in a row, I'm quite confident that we will, next year we will be able to meet in person. It's important more than ever that we stay connected and stay engaged in the issues that impact our community. And we know that our veterans today are facing a variety of issues that they haven't really faced in the past, or quite frankly, we haven't acknowledged in the past, be it PTSD, homelessness, and other issues. U.S. Vets continues to play an important role in Long Beach with assisting our veterans with the resources they deserve, so thank you, U.S. Vets, for doing that. The leadership and staff at U.S. Vets has and continues to do a remarkable job over the past year and a half by providing emergency shelter to our veterans experiencing homelessness while continuing to find pathways into permanent housing. And that's so key today, because we know that so many of the homeless out there who may have a variety of other issues, but in fact are veterans. So they need us, and we need them, and we need to help them. And I know U.S. Vets is part of a wide-ranging effort to address that issue in our community. So thank you, U.S. Vets, for doing that. This year in our state budget, I advocated for more funding to provide housing for individuals experiencing homelessness. So this year we have allocated $12 billion, a historic number, $12 billion to address homelessness. And within that $12 billion are a variety of programs to address homelessness for veterans that veterans are suffering from as well. So the state recognized that homelessness in general is a big problem, but it's also an issue in particular to our veterans. And we need to address that, and we're attempting to do that through $12 billion just this year alone. It is estimated that veterans make up about 10% of the homeless population. There's various estimates, but that's a lot. And there's something we can do about that. There's something we are doing about that, and that is providing more resources from the state level to the locals and to local organizations, nonprofits like U.S. Vets, to address homelessness amongst veterans. U.S. Vets not only provides beds and shelter for our veterans, but also provides resources that include supportive counseling services, assisting with job placement, and providing pathways, again, to permanent housing. So key. We can't just have folks living in a homeless shelter. We need to provide a path to permanent housing. What makes the Long Beach location stand out is their advanced women's program, designed specifically for female veterans and their children, the largest women's veteran program in the country, right here in Long Beach through Long Beach Vets. And it's a unique program. It's doing great things. We're very proud of it. I know, and I know you are too. Our veterans deserve access to safe, permanent housing, resources for their mental health, and support to get back into the workforce and live full lives, because they are the ones who have allowed us to live full lives through their sacrifices. And U.S. Vets provides services for these. U.S. Vets provides services for these resources, and I am proud to have a U.S. Vets location in my community. We don't have a U.S. Vets location in our community. We have a very proactive U.S. Vets organization in our community. Again, I want to thank Eric Miller for his hard work and really raising the bar and making this organization an example around our country for the unique practices they have taken up to address the variety of needs our veterans have. So in closing, again, I want to thank the President and CEO of U.S. Vets, Stephen Peck, and Executive Director again of U.S. Vets, that's Eric Miller, great guy. And thank you to all the employees and volunteers at U.S. Vets for your continued hard work in helping our veterans with resources and assisting with getting our veterans into safe, permanent housing and really rebuilding lives oftentimes. You do a great job of that. Lastly, thank you to our veterans again. Thank you to our veterans, service members, and all the honorees that are being celebrated here today for all the fine work you've done as a veteran and even outside of your experience of a veteran. Congratulations and thank you for your service to our community, but more importantly, your service to our nation in keeping democracy alive. I hope you enjoy this great luncheon, and I hope to celebrate with you next year in person. And thank you, U.S. Vets, for being in Long Beach. Thank you, U.S. Vets, for serving our veterans. And again, thank you to our veterans.
Thank you, Assemblymember O'Donnell, for highlighting the importance of supporting our veterans and the services at U.S. Vets.
My name is Joshua Valdez. I am an area team leader at the Marathon Refinery in the Carson-Wilmington area, and I'm an Army veteran. As Marathon is a member of this community, it's extremely important to me as a Marathon employee that we act as good neighbors, that we focus on safety, and we support our community, that we provide opportunities to others. Because of that, it's important for me to take time to highlight how proud I am of Marathon The fact that we've chosen to work with an amazing organization like the U.S.VETS and ensuring that the 14th annual Honoring Those Who Served Luncheon is successful. As a veteran, I understand the challenge associated with transitioning from a time of service to the civilian world. Whether serving active duty, the reserves, or the National Guard, that transition can be difficult. Organizations like the U.S.VETS in Long Beach help those veterans that are experiencing challenges now and have challenges moving forward. Regardless of the branch of service, whether serving in a time of war or peace, we're all brothers and sisters. And serving in the armed forces and our sense of duty, it really truly made us all family. I want to say thank you to Marathon for supporting this function. I want to say thank you to U.S.VETS for establishing and executing this event. And I want to say thank you to my fellow veterans. I want you to know that you're appreciated and that you're recognized for the sacrifices that you've given to ensure that we are all safe and free in this country. Thank you and have a great day.
Every year, we recognize one individual whose commitment to military service and community are exemplary. Today, we are proud to honor United States Air Force veteran John Oppenheim. After service and a successful career, Mr. Oppenheim made it his ultimate mission to give back and fight for those less fortunate. Mr. Oppenheim has been a longtime advocate for veterans residing at U.S.VETS, providing peer support and keeping our veterans active through social activities. He not only brings awareness to our heroes facing homelessness by being an active voice, but strongly advocates for veterans to get the best care they deserve. Let's get to know this year's honoree.
I grew up in San Francisco in middle class. I graduated in 1958, and so when I got out of high school, there were three choices. Number one was get married, which at age 17 didn't sound like too good an idea. And then the other was to go to college, and I didn't particularly like school. And the third one was, because there was a draft still on, even though there was no war, was to go into the military. And it was not it was an honor to serve. And so a lot of my friends and I joined the service. And I enlisted in the Air Force because, first of all, I wanted to get out of California, and the Air Force is the only one that had basic training outside of California, and that was in Texas. I never really thought about joining a veteran organization while I was a civilian, and in 2002 I lost my job, and so I was unemployed, and I was only 61, and so I needed medical insurance, and the unemployment office had a workshop for veterans, and they said, come on and come to our hospital in Long Beach. And so that was my first real re-exposure to the military, and it was almost like putting on an old shoe, walking into the VA, seeing a lot of guys and gals that had served, and everybody there that was a patient was a veteran. And so while I didn't necessarily join any veterans organizations, one of the things I did as just part of trying to keep fit was I took up yoga. And then after I left them, I wanted to volunteer, and I went over to the VA and said, hey, I want to teach yoga, which you don't walk in the front door of the VA and do that. But it took me a while. And they said, hey, we'd like you to go teach yoga at Century Villages for our drug and alcohol recovery program. And so that's how I ended up here. We started expanding beyond the VA and opened it up to all the people here. And one of my students she would come every once in a while, I was the executive director of U.S.VETS. And so I started working with U.S.VETS in a couple things. One of the things was to start a thing called brain fitness. In addition to yoga, was to help veterans, and it really worked. It's a lot of the stuff I did really was around PTSD and depression that I had learned in doing yoga. Last year, as a result of COVID, and we had all been together doing stuff before, I was talking about brain fitness and yoga, kind of missed talking to each other. And we started a little Zoom meeting on Friday afternoons just to socialize. And last fall, there were some unfortunate passings of veterans over in permanent housing, and we started talking about, why. And I mean, there's depression and loneliness for these people. You can be lonely in a crowd. There's 361 units over there. And we said, what can we do? And so we decided to start a Veterans Council, and that's really what this is, No Veteran Left Behind. And so there's a lack of service out there, and our goal is to fill some of those gaps in working with the veterans who aren't as lucky or as well off as we are. We have needs, and we need to fill them, and I believe that we can get it done. I'd like to thank U.S.VETS for giving me this honor of Veteran Advocate of the Year. To be chosen was really a privilege and an honor.
We hope Mr. Oppenheim's story inspired you to be an advocate for our veterans. Every day, veterans are waiting to receive proper care, and it's individuals like John that make a difference. The veterans and staff at U.S.VETS Long Beach appreciate all that you do and for being a pillar of support that is needed at our site. We thank you, Airman John Oppenheim, for your military service and dedication to serving Long Beach veterans.
Good afternoon. My name is Brisa Sotelo Vargas, and I am here representing Valero Wilmington Refinery, a neighbor of yours here in the community. Throughout the years, many of our Valero teammates have served our country as members of the U.S. military. Currently, we are proud and fortunate to have over 1,000 veterans in our workforce from all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. I want to thank all our employee veterans for their unwavering commitment to our country and their contributions to our company as we make products that fuel modern life here in America and across the globe. I also want to thank you as a veteran, because without you, we wouldn't be here. We value our veterans throughout our country. As a company, we are blessed to be able to employ and celebrate our veterans, and at the same time support a number of organizations across the U.S. devoted to military veterans and their families, such as Soldiers Angels, the U.S.VETS Long Beach, which we are celebrating today, the American GI Forum, and many more. I will say that we have been extremely engaged with our U.S.VETS Long Beach for quite some years. And we are happy to say that specifically within the last year, we have recommitted to be engaged at least once a month, whether it's by doing donut runs where our employees donate, a Surf for Charity, which we have done for the past couple of years, raising over $30,000 a year, the United Way designations where our employees pledge funds to the U.S.VETS Long Beach, celebrating Veterans Day by sponsoring your events, including Memorial Day, Mother's Day, honoring our women that have also served. During the pandemic, we went ahead and engaged with you as well. We knew that, we were at a vulnerable time, but at that point, we knew we could not be alone. We had to be with you, and we did this together. We also were engaged in Storm the Beach, and we've continued to do that, which is a lot of fun. We've engaged at the 4th of July picnics. We've had clothing drives, which allow for our employees to give of their professional wardrobe so that our men and women have the opportunity to go back into the workforce and are prepared. And we've also done blanket drives and toy drives for children of. So that said, we are honored here today to be before you at your 14th annual Honoring Those Who Served, because without you, we wouldn't be here today. Valero is so proud to be a partner. Finally, we'd like to give thanks to our veterans in our lives and remember to pray for those here at home and abroad and who are still defending our country and our families. Congratulations, and God bless America.
After a challenging year, and as we continue to grapple with the effects of the pandemic, we credit the sense of community for helping us persevere through the hardest of times. The resilience that our veterans possess to continue moving forward on their goals motivates all of us to push on. The camaraderie among our veterans and staff has helped us adapt with the safety of everyone in mind. Not to mention the outpouring of generosity we received from our community partners really touched our hearts. From our longtime partners in Valero Energy at Wilmington that helped us raise over $29,000 in essential funds, a record-breaking amount, by the way, via their annual Surf for Charity event. To Big Sunday, a community volunteer organization, along with the Home Depot, beautified our women's program by providing beautiful patio furniture and plants that created an improved therapeutic environment. Along with this, we received holiday gifts from Fox, monthly treats from Wilmore Baking Company, and tickets to the LA Rams and USC football games. All wonderful gifts that helped raise the spirits of our veterans. When we were faced with the difficult decision to close our kitchen for a week, our community stepped up. In less than 48 hours, we had a full week of warm meals donated, making sure that no veteran was left hungry. No gesture was too small, and it's support like this that makes our essential services to our veterans possible. We are so appreciative of everyone's commitment to honoring our veterans in such a meaningful way. The growing support during this difficult time means a great deal to all of us, and hope that you join in our mission to end veteran homelessness.
For more than a century, the people of Marathon Petroleum have worked to reliably provide affordable, abundant, and safe energy to more Americans in more places in new and innovative ways. Today, we are writing a new chapter of our history, fueling our nation from coast to coast with integrated services across North America. Together, we will deliver the full potential of our people, our network, and our ingenuity in the communities we serve. We are proud of this mission because we aren't just empowering mobility, we're expanding new opportunities. We do so strengthened by the breadth and dedication of our workforce. From small towns to big cities, we may view the world from different perspectives, but we are united by our ability to realize the possibilities at every pump, in every plant, and most importantly, in every person. We are passionate about performance, disciplined in execution, and committed to our communities. Together, we will continue to build a culture of collaboration that drives our purpose, harnesses the power of our diverse business to innovate, and empowers responsible citizenship to achieve the highest performance. Because this is where it all begins. And together, we're just getting started.
Our next presentation is one of the many testimonials of our veterans fighting the stigma as they transition back to civilian life. Patrick Henderson, born in Los Angeles, is an Army veteran who served from 1983 to 1986 as a specialized combat engineer. After his service, he returned to the bad influences he had first escaped. Unfortunately, the challenges he faced caused Mr. Henderson to end up on the streets. When he was ready to turn his life around, he found U.S.VETS Long Beach. Here's his story.
I was involved with people that the thing that they were doing really wasn't for me, but they were my friends. So as time went on, I thought about the thing that I was doing and that I wanted something better for my life. So my father told me that the military would be good for you because you're a people person, but right now in the way you're going, your life is going backwards. I picked the Army because I am not a water person. I get a little nervous when I'm in the water and don't see land. And I did want to get into the military, and I figured that the Army was the best for me. I had total discipline when I came out of the military, which I didn't have at first. I had a lot of self-esteem. I had a lot of things that men especially hope for that they have, but they really don't know whether they have it or not. But when you're in the military, you learn the difference. Even though I spent that time in the military, when I came back, things really haven't changed. Everyone was still doing the same thing. So I slowly started, unfortunately, hang with some of the people I hung with before I joined the military. I had a job, but things went wrong and I ended up losing the job, and I kind of like stressed out behind it, and I started just wasting my money, not caring about too much besides my kids. Start hanging in the streets more, drinking, involved with dope, involved with people that sell dope, gang activity that I lived around, people dying everywhere, people getting shot for no reason. So I got involved with the life they call, some people think it's joyful, but it's really a destroyer. It was just all bad. It was all bad. Finally tried to straighten up. My daughter took me to U.S.VETS in Westwood, and I signed up and everything, but I still went to the point where I felt I needed help and could do it on my own. Around 6 months later, I seen that I'm not still doing anything but going backwards, staying with family members, nothing for myself. Everything I have is leaving slowly. I end up staying on the street, staying in my car, trying to make it there, which it wasn't working. So I went up to the Long Beach VA and told them I was homeless, and they told me about the U.S.VETS. And once I came down here, they welcomed me with open arms, and they supported me. They gave me a place to stay. They gave me the resources that I needed, like my PTSD, just trying to put my life back together, because once you go home, you have no life. They put me back into the stage where I wanted to move forward. I felt myself coming back, my manhood coming back, me as getting back on my own and living my life the way I was supposed to. If there wasn't a U.S. vet for people like me to go to, at this time, I believe I still would be in the streets. I'd be in worse shape now than I was from the beginning if I didn't come to U.S.VETS. I really appreciate and want to thank U.S.VETS for the thing they have done for me.
What an extraordinary story. Patrick is a true inspiration, and we couldn't be more proud of his accomplishments. On behalf of U.S.VETS, we thank you for your service and wish you continued success as you settle into your forever home. It is stories like these that remind us of the importance to come together by giving at today's virtual luncheon. Your donations will ensure U.S.VETS Long Beach continues the services to our veterans, like Mr. Henderson, depend on to get back on their feet and regain their independence. So friends, stand with me now and demonstrate your support to U.S.VETS. Here's the difference your generosity can make. By going to the link on your screen, you can make a 100% tax-deductible gift in any increment you feel compelled to give to support this work. Behind the many successes of our organization is a collective team that works tirelessly to make an impact. Here's a snapshot of our 2020 outcomes. Last year, 3,025 veterans were served throughout our residential and community-based programs. 72% of veterans in transitional housing successfully obtained permanent housing, and 89% exited with cash income. Lastly, I'm happy to report that 92% retained permanent housing. For everyone giving today, thank you so much on behalf of U.S.VETS Long Beach. You're helping us fulfill our mission that no one who served our country should be living on the streets. Before we conclude today's event, we want to pause and pay a special tribute. This year, U.S.VETS Long Beach and our nation endured many great losses. 11 beloved veterans in our community will live on forever in our hearts. As this year marked the 20-year anniversary since the dark and horrible terrorist attacks, we remember the 2,977 innocent lives lost. Even more, those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our country in the 2 decades since. Our country will never forget the sacrifices of those 13 fallen heroes who risked their lives to protect Americans and allies in Kabul. To the families mourning the loss of their sons and daughters, we honor you and mourn with you. And to the families praying to see their sons, daughters, spouse, mother, father, or friend again, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Join me in a moment of silence of the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served to protect our freedoms. They will never be forgotten. Thank you again for your exceptional generosity and solid support today. U.S.VETS Long Beach could not continue to provide essential services without your contributions. The invaluable impact you have on our veterans never goes unnoticed. No veteran should have to endure homelessness after putting their lives on the line. Because of you, over 800 veterans and their families in Long Beach have a safe place to call home and transformative services to help rebuild their futures. We appreciate you tuning in and look forward to seeing you in person next year at our big event. And I'd like to give a special thank you to Antonio Gilbreth and his team at AG Media Enterprise. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay healthy, and thank you for supporting our nation's youth.